The Colorado Plateau of New Mexico still bears the unhealed sores of the uranium boom of the last century. Today there are radioactive waste piles, contaminated water, and hundreds of mines on Navajo land abandoned by companies looking to make a quick profit. Despite the contamination, companies want to start a new era of mining in this region. The Eastern Navajo Diné against uranium mining was formed in 1994 when Hydro Resources Inc. announced its intention to mine uranium in the Church Rock and Crownpoint chapters of the Navajo Nation in New Mexico. The 4 proposed mines would purposefully and irreversibly contaminate the sole source of water for over 15,000 Navajo community members. These are the first Diné communities targeted for new uranium mining since the 1980s. Although the Navajo Nation has a ban on uranium mining and processing, a court decision recently determined that the area in Church Rock targeted for mining is not considered Indian country and is not subject to the ban.
It's now Uranium Resources Inc. Wants to mine its first pound of uranium in New Mexico. This is ground zero. This is where it's all going to start. This is
That's ISL, right?
yes, this is in situ leach mining. This is not your conventional mining with a pit or a shaft in the ground. It's injecting chemicals into the groundwater aquifer here and extracting the uranium chemically. And this site is right next door, right across the highway from Larry's family camp over there on Section 17, which is the second site that URI intends to mine. The place where they're discharging is not a place of reasonable foreseeable withdrawal of groundwater. If they have an aquifer exemption under federal law, that area of groundwater, that portion of the aquifer, is never going to be used for drinking water, by definition. That makes it a place that's not a reasonable foreseeable place of withdrawal, and New Mexico groundwater standards don't apply. And my guess with this Environment Department, they're going to say, you know, clean up the best you can and then you're done.
Cage house with the brown roof, that's where I live, just right across. But I was raised, since I was born, over where those, just above the, between the white car and the black car, just on the other side where you see those green trees coming over the hill. That's on Section 16 state land. So what HRI is proposing is to do their ISL mining up in this canyon, just the west half, because the east half is tribal trust land. And you got the section corner right here. So in that area that way is the southeast quarter of Section 8 HRI's property. Then you got the other corner this way is tribal trust, and we're standing on state land. So when what HRI is proposing, set up their ISL, and they're going to be going right through with their with the ore packed in 50-gallon drums, a slurry or dried or something, a slurry. Getting on the highway, going about another mile up the road, turning, making a right on the BIA road, which goes all the way into Crownpoint. So you're going to have all these traffic going through here, carrying all these 50-gallon drums, pure high-grade uranium, and the traffic has increased a lot in the past several years here. An underground conventional mining right in that area since the late 50s or the early 60s. And there used to be a windmill there also. Before all the pipe water line system that went through the community, that's where everybody got their water. And so you had the windmill a couple of 100 feet away from the mine shaft. That's where everybody got their water. And it wasn't only the local people here, but other people from other communities further west or further east, further south, north. That was the main drinking source for the community for several years here. The mine closed down, or Phillips closed sometimes later. UNC came through here, set up sunk their main shaft up about 3-4 miles further up. The state highway went through in the 70s. That's probably the only benefit we got out of the mining activities up here, Kerr-McGee and UNC. The state highway 566 here, but it also claimed a lot of lives. The monitoring, it was discovered there was high reading along this highway. They used the colors of your traffic light, red, yellow, and green. Red meaning it's reading high readings of radiation. Green, it's good. Yellow, it's approaching the red.
We've been working on this issue even prior to my involvement with the organization. The people have been dedicated for so long to protecting the water, and that's our main focus. With ENDAUM, my main focus is to focus on the future and protect the children who can't defend themselves and protect those who are not able to speak for themselves at this time. And I think we're in a very crucial time in this process where we have the opportunity to prevent something from further happening, damages that possibly occur. And since I got in with ENDAUM, I started to realize how revoking this aquifer exemption is going to be very important into the region, into the current situation, and as well as for the future. So we've been working on this issue even prior to my involvement with the organization. The people have been dedicated for so long to protecting the water, and that's our main focus as a community.
And been involved for several years now. I currently am just in the ranching field, and we still have to depend on hauling water. My parents still have to haul water from Crownpoint, and the basic needs of electricity and water is in a lot of places that we don't have. My parents are one of them. Even out in the Lake Valley where I live now, we still have to haul water as well from the local wells. Even out there, this one at the mission where we haul water, it shut down for repair, so we have to go across to White Rock. And on the weekends they're closed, but there's a separate well. And I said, well, I've seen people drive in there and haul water. Our cow needed, so we went and started filling up the tank, and it just kind of stench to it, the film, and it smells with oil. And we have no other choice, stuff like that. We have to depend on how we're going to feed our livestock, and maybe some people, that's all they have. And so that was another eye-opener for myself out there too. It was like, how come this way is still open, it's not being looked at, but I'm sure there's a lot more issues like that around here.